Okay, we're back. And if you're just joining us on the drive home, my name is Russ Calloway. You're locked into KDRL 96.1, The Drive. And it is 4 minutes past 5 on a Thursday afternoon. Traffic's heavy on the eastbound 40 near the interchange. So if that's your route, give yourself an extra 15, maybe 20. I want to read you something before we go to the break. And I want to read it exactly the way it came in, because I don't want to add anything to it. This is from the city's non-emergency line, relayed to us about 10 minutes ago. Standard advisory. We get a few of these a week. It says, residents in the Briar Hollow and Marston Park neighborhoods are asked to report any individuals in costume going door to door, and to not under any circumstances open the door to them. That's it. That's the whole thing. Now, I've been doing this job in this town for 19 years, and I have read you advisories about black ice, about a bear that got into the elementary school dumpsters, about a gas leak on 4th that shut down half of downtown. This is the first one I've ever read where I genuinely don't know what they're talking about. Costume. In June. So if you're out in Briar Hollow or Marston Park, and you can see what they mean, the request line is open. 5550961. I'm curious, and honestly, I think I'd feel better hearing a normal explanation. We'll take a quick break. Weather in the back half of your commute, right after this. Stay with me. We're back, and the lines lit up the second I hung up. Faster than I expected. Let's get right to it, because that's what you're here for. Caller, you're on the drive. Go ahead. She says her name is Dana. She's in Marston Park, in her car, in her own driveway, and she's not getting out. I asked her why, and there's this pause, long enough that I almost prompted her. She says there's a man standing at the end of her cul-de-sac, by the storm drain, and he's dressed like a clown. Full makeup, the wig, the whole thing. And he's just standing there, facing the houses. I asked her if he's doing anything, performing, handing out flyers, anything. She says no, he's just standing. And she's been watching him in her rear view for, she thinks, 11 minutes. And in 11 minutes, she says, she hasn't seen him blink. And she hasn't seen him move his feet. Now look, I want to be the calm one here, so let me be the calm one. People stand still. People in costume stand still for promotions all the time. Some new restaurant, some grand opening. They put a guy out on the corner. That's the most likely thing. But Dana, let me ask you. Is there a business near you? A new place, a sale, anything that would explain a guy in a costume? She says no. She says it's a residential street. There's nothing out there but houses and the drain. And then she says something that, I'll be honest, changed the temperature in this room a little. She says, he's not the only one. She can see 2 more. One on Crest Hill, one she thinks is on Lowell. Spaced out, evenly, like they were placed. Dana, stay in your car, keep the doors locked, and stay on the line with my producer. We're going to break, but we are not done with this. Don't touch that dial. All right, deep breath everybody, me included. I want to slow this down, because the worst thing I can do up here is get ahead of the facts. Here's where we are. We have one official advisory. We have one caller describing something genuinely strange. That is not a crisis. That's a Thursday, with a weird footnote. So let me tell you what I'm doing right now, in real time, so you know I'm not just talking. My producer, Marcus, is on the line with the city. Not the non-emergency line, the actual newsroom contact we use when there's a real story. And I've got our traffic guy, Pete, who's up in the chopper for the evening commute. And I've asked him to swing a little wide on his way back, over Marston Park. And just tell me what he sees from up there. A man in a costume is a man in a costume. From 800 feet, we'll see exactly what this is. A food truck, a film shoot, a church fundraiser. There is always a boring answer. 19 years. There is always a boring answer, and it is my job to find it before any of us scares ourselves over nothing. While we wait, the lines are open. But I want to ask you something specific. I don't want your theories. I don't want what your cousin texted you. I want this. If you can physically see one of these people right now, with your own eyes, call me. 5550961. Tell me where you are and what you actually see, not what you think it means. Because here's the quiet part I'll say out loud just once. Dana said they looked placed. I really want someone to tell me they weren't. Pete's almost overhead. Hold on. Pete, you're on. The whole town's listening, so talk to me. What have you got over Marston Park? There's wind noise, the rotor, that flat metallic hum you get from the chopper mic. Then Pete comes through. And Pete is the most unflappable man I know. He's called in pile-ups and brush fires in a voice you'd use to order a sandwich. He doesn't sound like that right now. He says he sees them. He counts, and he keeps losing his place. And he starts over, and he says it's more than Dana said. A lot more. He says from up here he can see the pattern, and the pattern is the thing that's getting him. They're not clustered, they're distributed. One every block or so, give or take, standing in the open. Driveways, corners, the middle of the street. And every single one of them, he says, is facing a house. I asked him the obvious thing. Is it a shoot? Are there cameras, crew, trucks, the stuff you'd see for a production? Nothing. No equipment. No vehicles that don't belong. Just people in costume, alone, spaced out across an entire neighborhood like somebody dropped them from a grid. And then Pete goes quiet, and the rotor fills the gap. And when he comes back, his voice is dropped. He says they're looking up. At him. All of them. At the same time. They turn their heads to track the helicopter together, like one motion. He's pulling away. He's going to do another pass east and confirm a count. Pete, be careful, and keep that mic hot. To everybody listening. I told you there's always a boring answer. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm having trouble finding it. Break. Stay close. We're back. It's 5:26. And in the last 6 minutes, 3 things happened. So let me give them to you in order, because order matters when things start moving fast. 1. The city updated the advisory. It is no longer just Briar Hollow and Marston Park. It now covers the entire east side, everything past the river, and the language changed. It went from report and don't open your door to this. And again, I'm reading it exactly. Residents east of the Calder River are advised to shelter in place, lock all doors and windows, and do not approach, photograph, or speak to costumed individuals. Do not engage. Wait for further instruction. Do not speak to them. That's new. That's a strange thing to have to tell people. 2. The non-emergency line is down. Not busy. Down. Marcus tried it 4 times. You get a tone and then nothing. Our newsroom contact at the city isn't picking up either. And that man has answered Marcus at 3 in the morning during a flood. 3. And this is the one I keep coming back to. We've now had, what, Marcus? 14 callers? 14, all from the east side, all describing the same thing. And not one of them describes the clown doing anything. No noise, no movement, no approach. They just stand. They face the houses. They wait. People keep asking me, on the line, and I'm sure in your heads, what do they want? I don't know. And I want to be careful here, because the not knowing is exactly what makes your mind fill in the blank with something worse. So let's not fill it in. Let's just keep gathering what's real. Here's what I need now. If you are east of the river and you are safe inside, stay there. But call me and tell me your street. I'm building a map up here. Pen and paper, old school. I want to see the shape of this. 5550961. Go. We're back, and I've got a city map taped to the booth glass and a marker in my hand. And I'm putting a dot everywhere a caller has confirmed one of these figures. And I need to tell you what the dots are doing, because I did not expect this. They're making a line, not a perfect one. But if I stand back, the figures aren't scattered all over the east side. They're concentrated along the river, and they thin out the farther east you go. And the heaviest cluster, the densest stretch of dots, is along the 4 bridges. The Calder bridges, the crossings into downtown, into our side. A caller named Hector just told me he watched 2 of them walk. First movement anyone's reported. He says they didn't walk fast. They walked the way you walk when you've got all the time in the world. And they walked toward the 8th Street Bridge. And he says when they reached the foot of it, they stopped. And they turned around. And they faced east again. And now they're standing there, like they took up a post. I'm looking at my map. I'm looking at the bridges. They're not spreading out randomly. If I'm reading this right, and I might not be, they're lining the only ways across the river. They're between the east side and the rest of us. Now I want to say the calm thing, and I mean it. There could be 100 explanations for a crowd gravitating toward bridges. Bridges are where people gather. Bridges are landmarks. This could mean nothing. But I keep hearing Pete say that they turned their heads together. And I keep looking at this line of dots tracing the river like a seam. Marcus is waving at me. He's got the police scanner up and running, because if the city won't talk to us, we'll listen to them talk to each other. We're going to take 10 seconds of dead air so I can hear what he's hearing. Stay with me. Do not touch that dial. 10 seconds. Okay, I'm back. And I have to be careful how I relay this, because scanner traffic is raw. It's unconfirmed, and people on the worst day of their lives are talking over each other on it. So treat everything in this segment as unverified. I am telling you what I heard, not what is true. What I heard was units being sent to the east side, and then I heard a dispatcher trying to raise those units and not getting them back. 3 times she called a car number. 3 times, nothing. And her voice on the 3rd try was not a dispatcher's voice anymore. It was a person's. I heard somebody say the word negotiator, which tells you the city thought, at least at first, that there were people they could talk to. People with demands. A hostage logic. Somebody behind this. And then I heard somebody else, a different voice say, and I wrote it down so I'd get it right. There's nobody to negotiate with. They don't answer. They don't have faces under it. They don't have faces under it. I don't know what that means. I want you to hear me not know what that means. It could be panic. It could be a man who pulled a mask off and saw more makeup. It could be the worst sentence I've ever heard on a scanner in 19 years. I'm not going to tell you which, because I don't know. Here's what I do know, and what I need you to do. If you are on the west side, our side, downtown and west, you aren't, as far as I can tell, fine right now. Nobody west of the river has called in a sighting. The river is the line. So if you're home, stay home. If you're driving home, go home and stay there. Don't go to the bridges to look. I know you want to. Don't. If you are on the east side, I am not going to lie and say help is coming, because I don't know that it is. Lock everything. Stay low. Stay quiet. Keep this station on, because I'm going to stay right here and keep telling you everything I learn the second I learn it. We have to break. I'll be fast. 45 seconds. We're back. And I'm taking this caller right now because Marcus flagged it as urgent. And I trust Marcus. Caller, you're on, but keep it down if you need to. I can hear you fine. Go ahead. She's whispering. A woman, older, I think. She's in her house on the east side, Glenmore Street, and she's whispering because there's one in her backyard. I asked her how long. She says since the advisory. An hour, maybe. It came through the gate. She heard the latch, and it walked to the middle of the yard, and it stopped, and it's facing her back door, and it has not moved since. She's got the lights off. She's under the kitchen window. She can see the top of the wig over the sill. And then she tells me the part that I'm going to carry with me for a while. She says it's holding something, both hands down at its sides. But in one hand, there's something she can't make out in the dark. And a few minutes ago, it lifted that hand, slowly, and set the thing down on her patio table. And then it put its hand back at its side. And it went still again. I asked her what it left on the table. She crept up, just to the edge of the window. She says it's an envelope, a plain white envelope. And she can't read it from inside, but it's got writing on it. Big letters, dark marker. And she's pretty sure, she's almost sure, that the writing is a name, her name. I told her, do not go out there. Whatever's on that table can stay on that table. She agreed. And then she went quiet. And I thought we lost the connection. But she came back, and her whisper had changed. She says it's not facing the door anymore. It's facing the kitchen window. It's facing her. The line cut. I don't know if she hung up or if it dropped. Marcus is trying to get her back. Ma'am, if you can still hear this station, stay down, stay away from the glass, and do not open that envelope. I need a second. We'll be right back. All right. I'm going to do something I should do more often, which is stop and lay out only what we actually know, because I can feel this getting away from all of us. Me first. And a list keeps you honest. Here is what is confirmed. Confirmed means more than 3 independent callers, or my own people, or both. 1. There are costumed figures, presenting as clowns, distributed across the entire east side of the river. The number is large. I've stopped trying to count. Pete put it in the hundreds from the air and said that was conservative. 2. They do not speak. Not one caller, not one, has reported any of them making a sound. No voice, no music, no laughter, which is the thing your brain wants from a clown. And the absence of it is somehow worse. 3. They move rarely, slowly, and with purpose. They take up positions. They favor the river crossings. They face structures, and increasingly, they face people. 4. The thing about faces, I've now had 2 more callers independently say it. People who got close, or whose neighbors got close, before the shelter order. They say there is no seam to the makeup, no edge where paint meets skin. One man said his neighbor reached out and touched one's cheek on a dare before any of this got serious, an hour before. And the neighbor pulled his hand back and didn't say anything and went inside and won't come out. That's it. That's the confirmed list. Everything else, the envelopes, the names, the no faces, I'm holding as unverified because I owe you the difference. Now, here's the question I can't answer, and I'm not going to pretend I can. Where did they come from? Nobody saw them arrive. That's the thread I keep pulling. A few hundred people in full costume do not assemble in a city without somebody seeing the trucks, the staging, the load-in. I've covered parades. You see a parade coming for days? Nobody saw this coming. They were just, at some point this afternoon, there, standing, as if the east side woke up and they'd grown out of it. I don't have a frame for that. I want one. The wanting is the job. Marcus just put a note in front of me. It's one line. It says the scanner's gone quiet. Not chaotic. Quiet. The East Side Channel has no traffic at all. That's not good. Quiet is not good. Hold on. We're back, and I left you on a bad note. So, let me update it, even though the update isn't better. The East Side Police Channel is silent. For the last several minutes, nothing. No dispatch, no units, no chatter. Marcus has it on the monitor right next to me, and the signal bar's fine. The channel is live. There's just nobody on it. And anybody who's ever listened to a scanner knows that a live channel is never truly silent. There's always breathing, a keyed mic, a cough, a car door. This is the kind of silence you only get when there's no one left to make a sound. I'm choosing my words. I said no one left to make a sound. I did not say what I'm afraid that means. I want to keep those two things separate as long as I can. Here's something concrete, though. Something you can use. The West Side Channel is busy. Very busy. And from what Marcus can make out, our side of the river is doing exactly the right thing. They're pulling everybody back to the bridges, the 4 crossings, and they're setting up there. Not to cross, to hold. They're treating the river as a wall, and the bridges as the gates, and they're sealing the gates. That tells me the people in charge over here have looked at the same map I have. They've seen the line of figures along the river, and they've decided the play is containment. Keep it on the east side, which is the smart move. And I'm going to say the hard thing that goes with the smart move, because you deserve honesty over comfort. If you are on the east side, containment means the line is being drawn with you on the wrong side of it. I'm not saying you're abandoned. I'm saying the strategy I'm watching unfold is built around the river. And you need to understand the river is now a border. Plan accordingly. If you have a way west that isn't a bridge, a boat, a friend with a boat, anything, I'm not telling you to use it, because I don't know what's between you and the water. I'm telling you to think now, while you can think, instead of later, when you might not be able to. A new caller, West Side, and Marcus says I'll want this one. Caller, go ahead. You're on the drive. Caller, you're on. Where are you and what are you seeing? Take your time. He's calm. First, genuinely calm voice I've had in a while, and it steadies me a little just to hear it. He's a volunteer, he says, with the county emergency group, the ham radio guys. And he's down at the 8th Street Bridge on the west side, behind the police line. And he can see across. I asked him to describe it like I'm blind. Because up here in this booth, I am. He says the bridge is empty in the middle, a no man's land. On our end, lights, vehicles, people, the whole apparatus. And on the far end, the east end, there's a row of them, the figures. Standing across the mouth of the bridge, shoulder to shoulder now, not spaced out, a wall of them. And they're facing west, facing us, facing the lights. And he says they're not trying to cross. That's the thing he wants me to understand. They've had every chance. The bridge is right there. Nobody's stopping them from walking onto it. They just don't. They stand at their end, and we stand at ours. And the empty bridge sits in between like nobody can agree who it belongs to. I asked him the question I've been carrying. Has anyone tried to talk to them? Bullhorn, anything? He says yes. 20 minutes ago, an officer with a loudspeaker asked them to identify themselves, asked them to disperse. The standard script. And he says when the officer's voice came across the water, every figure on the far end turned its head, in unison, toward the sound, toward the bridge, toward us. And then, he says, they did the only expressive thing anyone's seen them do all day. They smiled. He could see it even at that distance, even in the dusk, because the makeup made the smile huge. The whole row at once. They smiled at the loudspeaker, and then they went still again, and the smiles stayed, because of course they stayed. The smiles are painted on, and they were always there. But he hadn't noticed them until they turned. And now he can't stop noticing them. A wall of fixed grins facing the only people trying to hold the line. He says, and I'm going to let him have the last word on this segment because I can't improve on it. Russ, they're not trying to get across. I don't think they need to. I think they're waiting for us to come to them. Stay on with my producer, sir. Everybody else, stay exactly where you are. We'll break and come right back. We're back. And I have to address the envelopes, because I've now had enough calls that I can't keep treating it as one frightened woman on Glenmore Street. 11 callers, 11 from across the east side, have now described the same thing. A figure approached a home or a car, or in one case, a man walking his dog, and left something, an envelope, or wrote something. And in every case, the thing left behind had a name on it. And in every case, the name was the name of the person it was left for. Let me sit on the strangeness of that with you. These figures appeared in our city with no warning, no arrival, no demands. They don't speak. And yet somehow, they know names, specific names, the right names, attached to the right houses, the right cars, the right people. A woman named Patrice told me, her voice flat as a tabletop, that the one in her driveway wrote her name across her windshield in something dark, and below it wrote her daughter's name. And her daughter has been away at college in another state for 2 years. How do you know a name? How do you know which house? That's not a costume. That's not a prank. A prank doesn't do research. A prank doesn't know your kid. So here's where my mind goes. And I'm going to share the reasoning out loud because I think it's better than letting you guess at mine. Either these are people, organized, with information about this town that no outside group should have, which is its own kind of terrifying. Or they are not exactly people, and the question of how they know things doesn't run on the rules, I understand. And I notice that I'd rather it be the first one. I'd rather it be a sinister human plot, because at least a plot has a person at the bottom of it. And a person can be stopped, or reasoned with, or arrested. What I can't stand is the second possibility, the one where there's no bottom, no person, just the knowing. And not one single caller has opened their envelope. Did you catch that? 11 envelopes with 11 names, and not one person has opened theirs. Some part of us already understands that whatever's written inside is not for us to read, that it's a thing they want us to do. Marcus is on his feet. He's pointing at the window, the booth window, the one that looks out over the parking lot. I'm going to look. Hold on. I'm going to look. I'm back. I'm sorry. I needed to look, and I needed a second after looking. The parking lot is fine. I want to say that immediately because I scared you and I scared me, and the truth is, the lot is empty and ordinary, and lit by the same buzzing sodium lamp it's had for 20 years. What Marcus saw, what made him jump, was a person crossing the far edge of the lot, by the fence, and for one bad second in the dusk, the shape of them read wrong. Long coat, odd walk. But it was a man. A regular man, scared, walking fast, cutting across our lot to get somewhere. He looked up at our lit window, and you could see on his face that he was as relieved to see two normal guys in a radio booth as we were to see a normal guy in a coat. He gave a little wave, the kind of wave that means, we're still here, you and me, we're still the regular kind of person. And then he was gone past the fence. And I want to hold on to that because here's the thing I almost forgot in all of this. We are still here. The west side is still the west side, the lamp's still buzzing, the signal's still going out. You're still listening, which means the chain between my voice and your ear is unbroken. And as long as that's true, we're okay, the two of us, right now, in this minute. I'm going to keep this minute as long as I can. But I won't lie to keep it. So here's the next thing, and it breaks the minute. Marcus put the west side scanner back up. It's not just east side anymore. I need you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you changes the situation. And I want you to hear it from a steady voice instead of finding out some worse way. There's been a confirmed sighting on the west side. Our side, the first one. Not at a bridge. That's the part that has me holding the edge of this desk. Not at a crossing, not at the river. In a neighborhood, Oak Ridge, which is west, well west, 3 miles from the nearest bridge, deep in the part of town we'd all decided was safe. 2 callers, same street, within 90 seconds of each other. A figure, standing in a front yard, facing the house. Same as the east side. Same stillness, same nothing. And I have to ask the question I asked an hour ago about the east side and never got an answer to. How did it get there? Because the bridges are sealed. I've got a man on the 8th Street Bridge telling me nothing has crossed. Nothing. The water's between us and them, and the gates are held. There is no path from the east side to Oak Ridge that doesn't go through a bridge or through the river itself. And yet there's one standing in a yard in Oak Ridge. So either it crossed in a way nobody saw, which means the river isn't the wall we thought it was, or, and I can barely make myself say this, or it didn't have to come from the east side at all. Maybe it didn't cross. Maybe the east side was never the source. Maybe the east side was just where it started showing. And it's been here, on both sides, all along. And it's only now deciding to be seen. I don't know which is true. I want to be so clear that I don't know. But I notice the containment plan, the SMART plan, the river as wall plan, the whole strategy our side built its hopes on. That plan assumed there was an outside to keep out. And if these things are already inside the wall, then the wall was never the point. We've been guarding a door in a room that doesn't have walls. I'm getting more calls now. They're coming faster. West side prefixes, west side streets. And I can hear it in Marcus's posture across the glass. The dots are about to start landing on this side of the map, and I'm going to have to draw them. If you are on the west side, and you thought you were out of this, I'm sorry. You're in it now. We all are. Lock your doors. I'll stay right here. Don't go anywhere. Neither will I. We're back, and I'm not going to pretend the breaks are normal anymore. So I'll tell you the truth. I'm using them to draw and to breathe, and the drawing is winning over the breathing. The west side of my map has dots now. 12, 24. They're coming in faster than I can write, and Marcus is calling them out while I mark them. And we've fallen into this rhythm. Him reading a street, me finding it. A dot, the next street, a dot. And I realized about a minute ago that I've stopped feeling the marker in my hand. Here's what the new dots are telling me. And it's different from the east side, so pay attention. On the east side, they lined the river. They made a border. The logic was, hold the line, face the crossings. On the west side, there's no line. The dots are landing everywhere. Random. Scattered through every neighborhood like seeds thrown by hand. Oak Ridge, Pinecrest, the Heights, downtown, 2 blocks from this station. 2 blocks from this station. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to keep reading you the pattern, because the pattern is the only weapon I've got. And the pattern is this. They're not gathering anymore. On the east side, early, they gathered, they organized, they made walls. Here now, they're just appearing where the people are. 1 per house, more or less, 1 per family. As if the gathering phase is over, the bordering phase is over. And we've moved to a new phase, and the new phase is personal. The new phase is 1 for you, 1 for each of you. standing in your yard, facing your door, knowing your name. I keep coming back to the names, because a wall at a bridge, that's a thing that's happening to a city. But a figure in your yard that knows your name, that's a thing that's happening to you. They've shrunk it down, from the city to the street to the house to the single person at the window. And I'll tell you the worst realization I've had tonight. And then we'll keep going. Because stopping isn't an option for either of us. The worst realization is that nobody, all night, on either side of the river, has reported one of these figures doing anything to anybody. No violence, no grabbing, no harm. They don't have to. They just have to wait by your door until you decide to open it. Stay closed. We'll be right back. We're back. And someone opened theirs. I told you nobody had. For hours, nobody had. 11 envelopes, then more. Names on all of them. And not one human being in this whole city could bring themselves to break the seal. Because every instinct we have was screaming that the envelope was a trap with a door on the inside. A man just called and told me he opened his. He's on the west side, Pinecrest. And he found it taped to his front door an hour ago. His name on it in that same dark marker everyone's described. And he sat with it on his kitchen counter and he stared at it. And finally, he said he couldn't stand the not knowing more than he was scared of the knowing. Which, God help me, is the most human sentence I've heard all night. Because it's the same sickness I've got. The wanting to know, the job. I asked him, gently as I could, what was inside. He says it was a single sheet of paper. And on the paper, in the same hand, was a sentence. And the sentence was, "We've been so lonely without you." That's it. That's all it said. We've been so lonely without you. And he said, and his voice did a thing here that I won't try to imitate. He said that as he read it, the figure that had been standing in his yard, the one facing his door, took a step toward the house. The first step, after hours of stillness. He read the words, and it took a step, like the reading was a key, like understanding the message was the thing it had been waiting for, like it couldn't move toward him until he'd let it in through his eyes. So now I have to tell all of you something. And I need you to take it seriously, even though it's going to sound insane coming out of a radio. Do not open the envelope. If one of these things has left you something, do not read it. I don't fully understand the mechanism. I can't. But the pattern across this whole night is consistent, and the newest piece fits it. They don't force their way in. They wait for an invitation. They wait for you to open the door, open the envelope, read the words, say something back to them, look too long. They wait for the one small yes. And I think that's why the city's first instruction, the very first one, the one I read you at 5 o'clock and didn't understand, was do not open the door. They knew. Somebody at the city knew, early, that the whole thing turns on that one hinge. Don't give them the yes. I have to break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you about my own parking lot. Because there's something in it now. And it has been there for 6 minutes. And it is facing this window. We're back. And I'm going to keep my voice level if it kills me. Because if I lose it, you lose it. And I'm not doing that to you. There is one in the parking lot. Mine, the station's. The lot I told you was empty and ordinary an hour ago, under the buzzing lamp. It's standing under the lamp now, facing this window. The lit window, second floor, where I've been sitting all night talking to you. It walked in from the fence line about 8 minutes ago. Slow, the all the time in the world walk. And it stopped under the light, and it turned to face me, and it has not moved since. I can see it perfectly. That's the thing about the lamp. It picked the one spot in the whole lot where I'd see it best. The wig, the makeup, with no seam, exactly like they said, no edge where the white stops and the man begins, because I don't think there's a man. The smile, painted, enormous, fixed, and the eyes, which are just looking up. At me, at the booth, at the source of the voice that's been telling the whole city not to open the door. It's holding an envelope. Of course it is. Down at its side, in one hand. And I already know whose name is on it, and I'm not going to say my own name on the air right now, because saying it feels like answering, and I'm not answering. Marcus is here with me. The door to the booth is locked. The door downstairs is locked. We're 2 floors up. There's no envelope up here yet. It's down there, and we're up here, and the glass is between us. And I'm going to keep talking to you, because talking to you is the one thing it can't make me stop doing. We're back. Marcus is going to keep the board running while I talk, because we made a decision in the last break. And I want to tell you what it is. We're staying on the air, no matter what. As long as the transmitter has power and one of us can speak. This station does not go silent. The East Side Police Channel went quiet tonight, and I told you what silence meant. And I'm not letting the signal become that kind of silence. You will not turn your dial and find nothing. You'll find me, or you'll find Marcus. One of us, talking the whole night through. Marcus has been with me for 11 years. He's the calmest man in any building he's in. He's the one who flagged the right callers all night, who got the scanner up, who saw the man in the coat. And right now, he's standing at the window, looking down at the thing under the lamp. And he just said something I want to pass on to you, because it's better than anything I've got. He said, "It hasn't done anything. All night, the whole city, they haven't done one single thing. We're the ones who keep almost doing things. We almost open the door. We almost read the letter. We almost look too long. The whole crisis is us, deciding whether to let them in." And he's right. Think about the entire night. Every step forward they took, somebody invited. The man in Pinecrest read the words, and it stepped toward him. They don't break in. We're not under attack. We're under temptation. And that's so much worse, because you can board up a window against an attack. But how do you board up a window against the part of yourself that wants to know what the letter says, that wants to be done waiting, that after long enough alone in a locked house, might actually start to feel the pull of a thing that's been so lonely without you? That's the trap, not the clown in the yard, the loneliness it's offering to end. They picked the perfect disguise, not to scare us, to make us reach back. So don't reach. Whatever it offers, however it knows your name, whatever it says it's missed, don't reach. The phone lines just lit up all at once. Every line, all of them. Hold on. We're back, and every line on the board is lit. And Marcus and I just looked at each other, because that's never happened, not in 19 years, not on the biggest news night this town has ever had. Every line, solid at the same instant. I picked one. I'm going to tell you what I heard, and then I'm going to make a choice about the rest. I picked line 1 and I said, "You're on the drive." And there was no panic, no whisper, no frightened caller. There was a voice, calm, warm, friendly, the kind of voice you'd want reading you the weather. And it said my name, my full name, the one I haven't said on air all night. And it said, "Russ, we've been so lonely without you." I hung up. I picked line 2, same voice, same words, line 3, line 4, same, all of them. Every line on my board is the same voice now, saying the same sentence. And it is the sentence from the envelopes, the sentence that made the thing in Pinecrest take its step. and they are reading it to me down every line at once because the thing in the parking lot can't get up the stairs and can't get the envelope into my hands, so it's found another door. The phone. The phone is a door. The phone has always been a door, all night. Every caller a hand reaching through, and I never once thought about which way the reaching went. So I'm taking the lines down, all of them. I'm telling Marcus to kill the phones. We will have no callers for the rest of this broadcast, and I'm sorry, because the callers were how I knew anything. The callers were the whole show. But the line is a door, and I am closing the door. It's just me now, me and Marcus and a microphone and a window with a thing under the lamp. The phones are down. The booth is quiet. And now I can hear it. The new sound. Listen, we're back. And I need you to be quiet with me for a second, wherever you are. And just trust that I'm telling you the truth about what I hear. Because you can't hear it through your speaker. And I wish you could. And I'm also so glad you can't. There's something on the stairs. The station's old. The stairs are wood. They've got a particular creak, third step from the bottom. Then a long groan around the landing. Every one of us who works here knows that sound in our sleep. And it's happening now. Slow. The all the time in the world pace. Third step. Pause. The landing groan. Pause. I looked out the window. The lamp in the lot is empty. The figure that stood under it for 15 minutes is gone from the lot. I'm not going to tell you it's the same one. I don't know that. I don't know anything except that the lot is empty and the stairs are not. The booth door is locked. It's a good lock. It's a heavy door. We built this room to keep sound out, which means it keeps things out. And Marcus has his back against it. And I'm at the mic. And we are not opening that door. That's the one rule. The first rule from 5 o'clock. Do not open the door. I read it to you when I didn't understand it, and now I understand it completely. It's the only instruction that ever mattered. The creaking stopped. It's at the top. It's outside the booth. There's no knock. I keep waiting for a knock, and there's no knock, and I understand why there's no knock. Because a knock is a thing you have to answer. And it doesn't want to make me do anything. It wants me to want to. It's just going to stand out there. As long as it takes. We'll be right back. We're not opening the door. We're back. And we're still here, both of us. And the door is still closed. And I want to spend this segment telling you exactly how we're going to get through tonight. Because a plan is a thing to hold on to. And right now, we all need something to hold. Here it is. We do nothing. That's the plan. It sounds like surrender, and it's the opposite. Everything tonight went wrong when somebody did something. Opened a door, opened an envelope, read the words, answered the phone, looked too long, walked to the bridge to see for themselves. Every single step that thing took across this city, a person gave it. So our plan, mine and Marcus's, and I'm begging yours too, is to give it nothing. No door, no yes, no answer, no reach. It can stand outside the booth all night. Let it. It can stand in your yard all night. Let it. The sun comes up at 5:40 in the morning, and I don't know if the light matters, but I know that every hour we don't open the door is an hour we're still ourselves. And being still yourself is the whole game. That's what I finally understand. The crisis was never about getting taken. It was about being talked into walking over on your own. I keep thinking about the words on the page. We've been so lonely without you. And I'll admit something to you. Because we're past the point of me pretending to be only the calm professional. It's a good trap. It's aimed well. Because who hasn't felt that? Who hasn't, on a bad night, in a quiet house, felt like something was missing, like there was a version of belonging just on the other side of one decision? That's the bait. It's not promising to hurt you. It's promising you won't be alone. And the answer, the only answer, is I am not alone. I've got Marcus, 3 feet away, breathing too hard, scared like me, human like me. And I've got you. Every one of you out there with this station on. In your locked houses, in your cars, in your driveways, not opening your doors. We are a whole city of people not reaching back, all at once, together. That's not loneliness, that's the opposite. Hold on to it. We're back, and I did some math in the last break to keep my hands busy. And I want to share it because it's the most hopeful thing I've got. It's 1:45 in the morning. Sunrise is 5:40. That's 3 hours and 55 minutes. That's not nothing. But it's not forever either. It's one overnight shift. I've done 1,000 overnight shifts in this booth. I can do one more. You can do one more. We just have to outlast a thing whose only weapon is patience. And the trick, the thing I keep telling myself, is that patience isn't actually a weapon if you've decided you're more patient than it is. It's still outside the door. No sound now. But Marcus can feel it, he says. The way you feel someone standing close behind you. We're not opening the door. I want to give you something to do. Because doing nothing is hard, and your mind needs a task. Here it is. Find the other people in your house, and put your back near a wall, and turn this station up. Not loud enough to drown out your own front door, but loud enough that you're not sitting in silence. Because silence is where the thoughts get in. Keep a light on, keep your hands busy, and every so often, just say out loud, to whoever's with you, or to the radio, or to yourself, I'm not opening the door. Make it a thing you say. Make it a rhythm. Because the longer this goes, the more the wanting builds. And a rhythm is how you outlast a wanting. I'm not opening the door. Say it with me. We've got 3 hours and 50-some minutes. I'm not opening the door. Stay with me. We're back. And something just happened in this booth. And I'm going to tell you because I promised I'd tell you everything. And I'm not breaking that now. There's a small window in the booth door. Wire-reinforced glass, about head height, so you can see out into the hall. None of us ever look through it. It just shows the hallway. Marcus looked through it. I told him not to. I said it the same way I've been telling all of you all night. Don't look too long. Don't reach. Don't give it anything. And he said he wasn't going to look long. He just had to know if it was really there. He looked for maybe 2 seconds. And then he stepped back from the door, slow, and he came and sat down next to me. And he hasn't said what he saw. I'm not going to make him. And I'm not going to look myself, because I think looking is a kind of door too, a small one. The eyes are a door, the envelopes proved that. You read the words, and it steps closer. I think looking through that glass would be the same as reading. I think it's waiting in the hall with its face right up to that little window, hoping one of us gives it our eyes. So we're sitting with our backs to the door now, both of us, facing the mic, facing you. We're not going to look at it. We're going to look at the work, at the signal, at you. Keep your eyes on something that loves you back. We're back. And Marcus did something useful with the shake still in his hands. He scanned the dial. Our competitors. The other signals in this town. I want to tell you what's out there, in case you've been wondering whether it's just us. It's not just us. But we're not alone in the good way either. And I'll be straight about the mix. Some stations are dead air. Silent carriers. The signal up but nobody on it. And you know now what I think silence means. So I won't say it again. Some are running automation, music on a loop, nobody home, songs playing to an empty booth for an empty count of listeners. And there's something about a love song playing into all this that I had to turn off fast. But 2 of them, 2 other stations in this town have a live human voice on them right now. I could hear it, scared, steady talking. One of them was saying the same thing I've been saying. Don't open the door. Same words. We never coordinated. We just both arrived at the one true sentence. So there are at least 3 of us. 3 booths in this city with the lights on, and a person at the mic refusing to go quiet. Maybe more I couldn't catch. And every one of you listening makes the count higher, because a voice with no one listening is just air. And you're the ones who make it a signal. 3 hours to sunrise. Hold. We're back. And I almost don't want to say this out loud in case saying it undoes it, but the windows changed color. Not the booth window, the big one over the lot. It's gone from black to that first bruised gray, the color that comes before blue, the color that means the night's spine is broken even if the sun's not up. I've watched it happen from this booth 1,000 mornings, the end of 1,000 overnight shifts, and I never once cared about it until right now. It's 5:05, 35 minutes to true sunrise. And I'll tell you what I notice, and I'll be careful because I've been wrong all night about what things mean. The thing in the hall hasn't made a sound in over an hour. Marcus says he can't feel it behind the door anymore. I won't look to confirm it because looking is a door, and I'm holding to my rules right to the end. But the pressure in this room has changed. You spend a night with a thing on the other side of a door. You learn its weight. The weight's lighter now. I'm not telling you it's over. I would never tell you it's over when I don't know. There may be 100 of them still standing in 100 yards, waiting for 100 doors. Daylight might mean nothing to them. But it means something to us. It always has. We're a daylight kind of animal. And the gray in that window is the first thing all night that's on our side. 35 minutes. Don't reach. Almost there. We're back. And it's 5:41 in the morning. And the sun is up over this town. And I'm still here, and Marcus is still here. And the booth door is still closed, and we never opened it. I made myself look out the big window. Not the door, the big one, the safe one, the one that only ever showed me the lot. The lamp's off now, on its timer, because the light's enough without it. And the lot is empty, ordinary. The way I told you, it was a lifetime ago, at 5 o'clock yesterday, when this was just a strange little advisory I didn't understand. I don't know where they went. I don't know if they're gone or just done for now. Gone still somewhere out of sight, waiting for the next long night and the next quiet house. I'm not going to insult you with a tidy ending I haven't earned. The scanner's still mostly quiet. There's a whole east side across that river I have no good news about. There are envelopes on a lot of doors in this city that nobody's going to open for a long, long time. But you made it to morning. You, in your locked house, in your car, in your driveway, with this station on, not reaching back. You did the hardest thing there is, which is to do nothing while something patient stands at your door and tells you it loves you. You stayed yourself. I'm Russ Calloway. This is KDRL 96.1, The Drive. And we are still on the air because we never once went quiet, and we never opened the door. Marcus is putting on a record. First one all night. We've earned 3 minutes. Lock your doors today anyway. We'll be right here tomorrow night, both of us. Don't touch that dial.